Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility here on this Wednesday. Today, in this episode, we're going to take a look and review something that so many of you have asked for over the past month or so. This has been out, I think, a little over a month. I finally got my hands on it. I've had a chance to go through it. Of course, this is the 50th anniversary edition of Robin Trower's Bridge of Sighs. And the big kind of book format, right? At first, when I saw that this was going to be in a different format other than the standard CD size, I was kind of worried. I'm like, oh, geez, not another one of those like LP size things with, the discs and sleeves and all that blah, blah, blah. But actually, when it arrived, I was kind of surprised because it actually is very similar to the, the Jethro Tull and the Marillion, right? The ones that fit on the shelf like a book type of thing, that's quite all right with me, right? So let's take a look at this here. So you got 4 discs. Get the 2024 remaster of the original album. You get the 2024 stereo mix, outtakes, rarities, a full live at the Record Plant show from Sausalito, California, May 29th, 1974. And then, of course, you get on the Blu-ray, you get basically everything there on the Blu-ray, right? You can play through your stereo. So let's take a look here. You got the little session notes there. And then, I'm not nuts about this. So basically here you've got one disc on one side, one on the other. It's kind of hard to take the discs out, but they are housed in there pretty securely. So I guess I can't quibble with that all too much. And then, of course, you got the book part of it. Look at that shot of Trower, vintage shot. And then you've got a nice little foreword by Mr. Robert Fripp, who, of course, good, close personal friend of Robin's. Toured with Trower and King Crimson and various other bands toured together during the early 70s. They jammed together. Robin gave Robert some guitar lessons. He talks a little bit about that, which is pretty cool. And then you get some very good liner notes about the making of the album and everything. Of course, there's Reg Isidore, Jimmy Dewar, and Robin Trower, the original power trio in the Robin Trower band. One thing I never realized is that both Reg and Jimmy have passed away, but they both only lived to be 59. They died in different years, but they both passed away at the young age of 59, which is kind of sad, right? Additional photographs. It's a great shot of the 3 of them right there. And, of course, that essay is by David Sinclair. There's a couple different essays in here, which I think is kind of nice. And then this was from Andy Parker. You get some quotes to Andy Parker from UFO, Brian Ferry from Roxy Music, Steve Lukather from Toto, and Clive Bunker from Jethro Tull. So thoughts about Robin and the album, which is kind of cool. And then additional notes here. This was from Paul Olson. So a lot of good perspectives from different people about this particular album. And then info on each disc and what you got. So again, disc 1, Bridge of Sighs, original 1974 album, 2024 remaster. Produced by Matthew Fisher, engineered by Jeff Emmerich. Great production. I always thought the Bridge of Sighs was a really good sounding album. Right, recorded at Air Studios 1974. Robin Trower guitar, James Dewar bass and vocals, Reg Isidore on drums. Then over on disc 2, you get the Bridge of Sighs 2024 stereo mix plus outtakes. And the 2024 mix was done by Richard Whitaker at the Bridge Studios in London. Over on disc 3, you got Live at the Record Plant, Sausalito, California, May 29th, 1974. And the outtakes are interesting in the rarities because you get like these interesting instrumental outtakes and rehearsal takes and things like that. Kind of weird to hear some of these songs without Jimmy Dewar's vocals on them, but it's still kind of interesting. Single versions and things. And then, like I said, over on the Blu-ray, you get all the other stuff in addition. So 1 Blu-ray, 3 CDs. I think I said 2 Blu-rays at the before, but it's disc 3 is the live show, which is really cool. So let me first talk about the live show. I was kind of, when I saw that they were including this show here from Sausalito from '74, and I saw the track list, I was hoping and praying, because I love the Robin Trower live album so much, but I always wanted it to be longer. I was always upset that it didn't include Bridge of Sighs and Day of the Eagle, right, which they played on that tour. And that's one of my favorite live albums of all time, and it sounds great, the playing is great, but it just seemed like it should have had those 2 tracks on there. So they're on this. So you get Twice Removed from Yesterday, which also isn't on Robin Trower Live. You get Bridge of Sighs, Alethea, Lady Love, Daydream, 2 Rolling Stone, I Can't Wait Much Longer, Day of the Eagle, Little Bit of Sympathy, and Rock Me Baby. All right, so to me, that's like the ultimate Robin Trower set list. It's a really great performance. It doesn't quite sound as good as the Robin Trower live album. It's the recording is good. It's not great. It is pretty. I should say it's pretty good. It's just not of the quality of the Robin Trower live album. But the playing is spectacular, and you get that full set list, which is really, really cool. So folks are going to love that. That's the reason initially why I was waiting to hear this and couldn't wait to get my hands on this, and the reason why I purchased it. But then, and I have to give Phil Aston credit, because I watched Phil's unboxing and review video recently, and Phil really was the one to convince me that I need to take the plunge into this, because Phil really went in depth talking about the 2024 stereo mix. Now, the 2024 remaster is fine. Okay, sounds good. The stereo mix is the reason to get this, folks. So here, what they did was they found the original master tapes, and they noticed that all of these original stereo recordings were all edited from what they actually had. The original album version was edited based on the original mixes. So once you look on here, you notice that all of these songs on the stereo mix are, in some instances, considerably longer than the final versions we saw on Bridge of Sighs. So that is very intriguing. And then once you start listening to it, you're realizing this is a different sounding album in a big way. And they've uncovered things in the mixes there and brought them forward that you don't really hear on the original album. So like Day of the Eagle is 5:38 here, originally 5:02. So there's like an extra 30 seconds here. And a lot of these songs have like longer outros based on what the original fade out version that we heard on Bridge of Sighs. And especially like if Robin is playing a guitar solo to finish out the song, on the regular album we get a fade out much earlier than actually they went with the original recording. So that's really cool. If you're a fan of Robin Trower's guitar playing on this album or any album, you always want more Robin Trower guitar. In This Place, originally 429, 617 on here. In This Place is just such a wonderful, underrated track on this album. Man, that the wah-wah, the univibe, and the dreaminess of the whole thing. It's just got this kind of like psychedelic whoosh, 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 and Jimmy's great vocals, and it's just wonderful to hear this song kind of finish out to its logical conclusion. And you can't help but listen to this and think, man, we kind of got gypped with the original album, right? Because they cut it off when there was more to come. I will say, too, the mix itself sounds very different. There is a much clearer separation. And again, this is very simple stuff here. You got drums, bass vocals, and guitars. Jimmy sounds a little bit clearer in this mix, as does Reg's drums. Robin's guitar, to my ears, seem to have a little bit more reverb on them here, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It just sounds very different. There's little vocal nuggets and little things you pick up along the way in this new mix that's like, I don't remember ever hearing it quite that way before. The Fool in Me is 4:55 on this, 3:55 on the original. A whole minute extra. The whole kind of jam towards the end. Oh, awesome. 2 Rolling Stones, 8:07, 7:31 on the original. So an extra like 30 plus seconds. Again, towards that back end, right? You know. About to Begin. What a great dreamy song. 5:06 on here, 3:46 on the original. So almost a minute and a half. Lady Love is 4:07, originally 3:20, so about almost a minute. And man, that cowbell at the beginning is even more prominent. You want more cowbell, please? Awesome. To me, one of my favorites on here, and especially with the remix, is A Little Bit of Sympathy, which is now 6:07, even longer than a lot of the live versions. And on the original was 4:21. Again, let's Robin and the band take the song out to its original intended conclusion. That whole jam at the end, man. Don't cut it. Don't let it go, right? It's got to be in there. Really good. Really good. This, like I said, it's like I kind of felt the same way on the Black Sabbath Live Evil remix that we got last year. It's like hearing this album really for the first time the way it was originally intended. And there's nothing bad about the original. The original is great. There's reasons why we have loved it and for decades, right? And it's one of the legendary albums of all time. But all of a sudden now you got this new stereo mix, and it's like, man, I'm hearing Bridge of Sighs in a totally different way, and really probably the way Robin and the band originally intended it to sound and be released. Very cool. Then you got these instrumental rehearsal takes. You got Day of the Eagle, Bridge of Sighs outtake, number 3, Foolin' Me instrumental outtake, Lady Love extended outtake, Little Bit of Sympathy alternate take, which is short, Lady Love early version, Day of the Eagle single version. That's all fine and dandy. And that's stuff you listen to once or twice and then you never listen to again. But man, the stereo mix is really happening. The remaster sounds great, like I said, but to me, this is all about the live at the record plant in Sausalito, California, the live album, and the remix. Right there. Gotta have this. Gotta have this. So 5 out of 5 star. It's a 5 out of 5 star classic anyway, right? I have gone through in my life usually Bridge of Sighs, For Earth Below, Twice Removed from Yesterday. Those 3 albums are so great. It's hard to argue that Bridge of Sighs is the greatest Robin Trower album of all time. I have made arguments in my life that I liked For Earth Below or Twice Removed from Yesterday, maybe a little bit more. Of late, I'm not in that kind of mindset. And then you've got, Victims of the Fury, and, there's other albums that are great in this catalog. But as far as like studio records, this is like the absolute classic. So this was already a 5 out of 5 star classic. This is now 9 stars, right? 10 out of 10. I don't know, whatever you want to do. It's mandatory. This, all of a sudden now, Bridge of Sighs is all that much greater. And in this one package, you have so much goodness here that it's kind of hard to contain myself on this. So yeah, the man with the Stratocaster. Hard to believe. Stratocaster, Marshall amp, Dunlop wah-wah pedal, and a Univibe. That's Robin, right? Doesn't need much more than that. Classic stuff, classic band. And if you've heard this 50th anniversary edition, let us know what you think down in the comments below. If you have not, hopefully I've given you the impetus to go out and get this, because you really should. It's available anywhere you can get your CDs and stuff, and I think there's also a vinyl version of this as well. So go check it out. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content as a post, and please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we get the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, and our Cameo page. Thank you in advance for all your support there, and we'll see you soon here with more stuff. I am Pete Pardo, and definitely. And the Bridge of Sighs title track remix sounds way different. Way different. Go investigate. Check it out. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.